Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. Today, we just got yet another concept art from Friday the 13th. The game, The Rocker Chick, has made her debut on the online social media universe. My name is Razzle. I'm joined by Shake for what is episode 32 of the Prattlecast.
They modeled her after me, I think.
Did they?
Well, because when I saw her, I was like, that was me. I was that girl once. I wish I still was, but I'm not anymore. But every time they release a new model, I just, like, my list of what I need to play, of what characters I'm going to be, just keeps growing. And I'm like, these are my favorites, and they're mine. I just want to see all the outfit choices. That's my next big thing, is I need to go through all the outfits.
Well, did you buy the outfit pack?
No, I haven't bought anything.
Oh my god, you need to get on this.
I just moved. What do you... And you're like, oh, did you buy video games? No.
But I think that's a great testament to the game, is that like all the characters look like they'd be fun to play. And I don't know what the Rocker Chick's, what her stats are going to be, so I don't know what her strength and weakness situation's going to be.
You know she's going to be a cold bitch. Like, she's going to be the one who's like, yeah, I'll fix the car, but I'm going alone. Like, I'm not bringing any of you with me. You can all just stay here and be killed.
There you go. Maybe she'll have like a guitar weapon or something she can like use.
She can go all 80s hair metal on Jason.
Yeah, well,
can we not? She's not going to do that. She's just going to be mean. And she's not going to get afraid easily.
Well, I mean, there was like Jason Takes Manhattan, where he had like that one rocker chick and he like slams that guitar in her head.
Oh, yeah.
That was brilliant.
That was a brilliant display of murder. You know what? I think she's going to be like very independent. She's going to be on her own a lot. That's just how I see her. I'm just talking about myself really at this point.
Just giving her all of your attributes.
I'm just giving her what I am. She's not going to be a fun character to play.
Well, if that's the case, what would be your skill set in Friday the 13th?
What would be my skill? I don't even know if we in a video game in general. My skill set would be like, I'd like to think I would stay calm, but I wouldn't. Because like I can't even play like Dead by Daylight or Depth without freaking out. So if like you put me in a real life hunted situation, I'm gonna lose my mind. But like I like to think I would be like pretty sneaky. Like I could be really quiet. And by quiet it means I'd find one spot and never leave it. Like I would just die in there after a week. Like I think I could be really sneaky. I could work really well in a team, but then like backstab the team.
What?
And be like, bye. Like I would let, I'd throw them in front of Jason so that I wouldn't die.
Well, see, if you do that in the movies, you're probably going to die.
Well, I feel like I'm going to die anyway.
Like, because remember, I think it was part 7 where the guy pushes Carrie Girl's mother in front of Jason so he can escape, but it doesn't work out for him.
Well, I don't think it works out for anybody in these, but I'm just saying if I'm going to have a skill, I think I'm going to be like super charismatic and sneaky.
So pretty much flirty girl, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I guess. That's all I could have. I mean, what skills do you think you have in this situation? You're not doing much better than me.
I'd be the jock. Let's be honest.
I'm sorry, what?
I'd be the jock. I'd have.
I'm being honest. I have questions. What?
Yeah, I'd be the jock. I'd have like the Letterman jacket and the football, and I could totally go toe to toe.
I have a question. Do you know how to throw a football?
I have,
like, properly. Do you know how to properly throw a football?
I have thrown a football before.
Okay, that's one way to answer.
I remember. Funny, we should talk about this real fast. When I was a kid, I tried out for a football team. What's so weird is when you're a kid and you're trying out for a sport. Because I was like, let's see, I would have been in probably the 4th or 5th grade, and I knew nothing about football. And what I did not know was...
So why did you try out, first of all, if you didn't know anything about it?
Okay, I'll get to that in a second, but I got to get this in order because my mind is all jumbled today. But see, I have a thought right now, and I'm trying to put this thought...
Okay, we got to let you hold on to your thought. It's fine. I understand.
Okay, I don't even remember where I was. Okay.
4th or 5th grade, trying out for football, and you didn't know anything about football.
Right, that's what it was. Okay, so, like, apparently, if you're trying out for football, you have to already know about football.
You think?
No, but I mean, not just that. Like, you have to know plays. You have to know what the
In the fourth grade?
yeah, like you have to know the terminology. You have to know everything. Like, you have to know what
That's aggressive.
I know. See, when I was trying out for football, I was thinking that they were going to teach me all that. You know?
That's what I would assume is that, you're a young kid, they're going to teach you how to play the sport, teach you all that stuff.
Yeah, but no, they don't. They they do not do that. They basically you go there and so okay, so I went there, I tried out, and I remember coming to this point where the coach guy, I don't remember if he was the one throwing the ball or if it was one of the kids. I'm assuming it was probably one of the kids. Okay, so I'm on one side and this other guy is on the other side. And the
Okay.
coach gives us the play. Like he says, okay, I want you to do, and I don't remember what he said, okay, and I don't know the terminology, so I'm just going to say he said something like, okay, I want you guys to do like a lollipop slide and go for it, okay?
A lollipop slide?
I don't know what it's called,
A lollipop slide in football. I want to ask them if that's a thing.
but okay, so he gives us the instructions, and what would you assume that means anyway? I mean, if the coach says, okay, I want you on this side, you on this side, he's going to throw the ball, do a lollipop, what would you be doing?
I mean, I would like if it's a lollipop
Well, I mean, it
slide.
wasn't actually a lollipop slide. I just don't remember what he said. 'Cause-
Well, I was trying to envision what I would do if I thought that was the move. Like, and I would probably be wrong. I'd just stare at him. I'd be like, "Excuse me, what? Could you show it to me? I need a chart. I need a chart of what I'm supposed to be doing because I have no idea."
okay, well, my idea, which I thought was actually pretty brilliant, was I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna run down this aisle while he's running down that aisle because we're both running. We're on different sides of the field. I'll just keep my eyes on him, watch what he does, and I'll just do what he does. You know? I mean,
That's a smart move. That's a move I would make.
see, I was a smart kid.
Right, because you were just trying to figure it out. I mean, instead of admitting that you didn't know what you were doing,
Well, I mean, it was
you decided to cheat a little bit. That's fine.
I want to point out this was the first day. Okay, this was day one. All right, so I'm looking at this other guy. We're both like ready to go. You know how football players do with like they've got like their knee slouched down and then the other leg extended behind them, so they're ready.
Yeah, it's like they're in a weird stretch.
Yeah, so that's what we were doing.
They don't look like they're ready to run, but they just look like they're stretching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the person calls hut hut hike whatever the hell you say, and I'm running. So I keep my eyes on this other guy because he's running too, and he's looking at me. I'm looking at him. All right, we're just looking at each other. We keep on running. Maybe he didn't know what the hell to do either. Maybe that's what it was.
You're just looking into each other's eyes, hopeless and alone. You're both like, how did we get here?
Well, here's what happens. All right, we're both running, and we just keep running. We just keep running.
Wait, did you just run right off the field?
Yeah, we ran off the field. We just kept running, and finally, the coach like blows the whistle or something and says, "All right, all 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 right." And
Oh
like
my
has us come
god.
back and he said, "Neither one of you guys went for the pass." And I was like, "What? I didn't know I was supposed to go for the pass," you know. But apparently, one of us was supposed to do like a team maneuver where we like turn to the left and then run to catch the ball, and the other one
Uh-huh.
kept going forward. Apparently, either the other guy didn't know what he was doing or he thought he was the one that was going to be going forward. So, because of that, um, well, neither one of us went for the ball, and that was kind of my first day of.
That's horrible.
Ah.
How much longer did you last in the world of
I
football?
went out there. I went a couple of times because it was right across from my house, so it wasn't hard to get there. And yeah, I remember this other thing they did that I hated. They would have like you'd be inside of a circle, and then if they called your number, you had to like get out into the center of the circle, and then they would start calling numbers. And whatever number they called, that person like would run into you. Yeah,
What?
so you'd be like, and, so
This seems like abuse.
that
What is
this
this?
was my last day.
Okay, well, your last day that it's like we're gonna beat
Yeah,
the shit out of you.
because I got
You don't
called.
even know football.
Because just like if this were some teen comedy movie, of course I got called to the center. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like looking around, and they keep calling these numbers, and these guys just keep running into me. And like I held my own for quite a while, I think. And but at the end of it, I was just a mess. I was like, nope.
How many days of football before you said nope to
I don't
football?
remember. I don't remember how long I was. I was there long enough to get a uniform.
Did you just decide you didn't want to do it, or did they say you didn't make it?
No, I just decided I didn't want to do it.
Oh, were you forced into it, or
No.
oh, you just wanted to try even though you knew nothing about the
Well,
sport?
yeah. And I also think at that age, I
Interesting.
don't think they could actually cut you from the team because I think at that age they have to let you on the team.
Well, they have to let you learn. They have to let you try.
But I remember the coach because he seemed really disappointed that I didn't want to stick to it because I think he saw like potential in me, and that's why I think I would have been the jock in the Jason movie.
You think you would have been the jock in Jason because you think the coach saw potential in you in the fourth grade.
I do.
I want to clarify that we're talking about the same thing here because the potential that I don't think the coach saw anything. I think he just wanted to fix you.
Well, I mean that's what coaches do, Shake. They see raw material and they want to turn it into like a diamond, and that's what I was, Shake. In fact, I
You were
remember in high school, the track and field coach. I was getting lunch, and the track and field coach came up to me, and he said, "Hey, you ought to try out for the track and field team." And I said, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, you'd be great." And I was like,
Did you run around a lot in school? Like, were you
"No."
just running
And that's why
everywhere?
I was confused. I actually had to ask him. I was like, "Why? Why did you? Why do you think
It's
I'd
like,
be great?"
why?
And he said, "Well, you're very determined, and you have to be a little crazy."
You got called crazy.
uh,
Well, I guess it's kind of a compliment.
yeah, he said you had to be a little bit insane to want to run around in the South and do track and field.
Yeah, see, I never really had the drive to get into school sports. Like, I did the whole BMX bit till I was like 16, and then I just said, fuck it. So, but yeah, floaty girl's my road that I'm gonna walk down.
Wow, you just sounded really depressed.
Yeah, it's just like I gave up on my life, apparently. I'm just gonna be the girl who is mean and uses everybody and lets everyone die so in the hopes that she'll live.
I was actually the first male on my school swim team.
That's interesting because most of when I was in high school, most of the swim team was men.
Well, yeah, but I was also a part of the very first swim team for the
Oh,
school. We were so small that we actually, I think we were set to go on like travel meets with the other school in town because they were bigger than us.
uh-huh.
So, in fact,
Did that ever happen?
no, no,
Uh, oh,
no,
that's sad.
no. They,
That's a little bit upsetting.
well, yeah. I mean, they actually lost my drug test. They not only just once, but they lost it twice. And after that, I'm like, people are going to start talking. They're going to think I'm
People are
failing
gonna
this.
think I have a
So
problem.
I was like, I'm not doing that again. Not the drug test,
Wow.
but like your physical. You have to like do a physical or whatever.
Oh, okay. I was concerned. I'm like, why are you getting so many drug tests for the swim team? What kind of school did you go to where you need to be drug tested that often? That's insane. Like, who's drug testing for any high school team?
And
I got worried for you.
in the first grade, I tried out for baseball, and right before the first game, you know what happened?
What?
Chicken pox, and I quit. This has been a repeated pattern,
You just weren't meant to be involved in sports.
but I keep trying. And so,
You've got a lot of hope because you keep going back.
so I went into gymnastics. That didn't work out. I went into
Okay, why didn't that work out?
that didn't work out because I didn't sign up for the next class. I think I told you this. Yeah,
Wait, did you just
I
forget?
took no. Well, I didn't forget. It was just like I came to this point in my life when I was like, you know what? I don't know about this anymore.
Oh, okay.
Then
Okay.
I did backyard wrestling, and
Yeah, I knew about that. Yep.
and then I went on to do play-by-play commentary for actual indie feds of wrestling.
Wait, so you but commentating, is that a sport or is that a job?
I mean, it's a hobby unless you're getting
Yeah.
paid, and then it's work.
You're getting farther away from sports here because you went from like baseball, football,
Well,
swim team, gymnastics,
okay.
backyard wrestling.
But when I got into like indie wrestling stuff, I was in my 20s for God's sake, so I wasn't going to be.
And you were committed to that.
Yeah, I love doing that,
Yeah.
and
Yep, you loved
and I
that.
did not quit that.
Nope.
I
I
quit.
mean, I was an avid colorer until I graduated high school. I would color a lot.
Oh,
I was consistent with that. Um,
okay.
that's about all I got going for me, though. Like, I would color a lot in school because I didn't want to go to class.
Great story.
So,
Here I am. I'm pouring out my heart and soul, and you're giving me this.
well, because when you tell me all the stuff you did, I'm like, yeah, I was a loser. Like, I was a bum.
Come on, you didn't do anything in high school.
Well, I did a lot of things.
uh,
And just, just no, like I don't know. Like I was involved in theater when I was there.
mhm.
Like that's the only thing I liked about school was all that. Like I liked being in musicals. I liked to sing. I liked to dance. So I did all that stuff when I was there. But that's if I even showed up. But that was the only thing I really liked in school was that stuff. I didn't get involved in anything. I don't think I ever attended a gym class.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I just sit in the cafeteria and I'd play Magic cards and StarCraft.
Oh, I loved phys ed. I was so bad
I
at it.
hated it.
Oh,
Like I always was so worried that I was gonna look stupid that I didn't even try.
oh my God.
Which I regret now that I'm older and don't care. But like I just thought for some reason that like everyone was gonna like laugh at me if I couldn't do something right, so I just didn't do it at all. I was like, forget it. And they were like, you're gonna fail school if you fail gym class, and I'm like, it's gym class. I'm not going. It's
So they,
and I was fine. They didn't fail me. I graduated.
well, I had some really good instructors in phys ed though. I had some really good ones.
I do remember I had this one guy. He was like he's 80 years old. He was shorter than me, and I'm like 5'4", and he was like he's short. And he was this little old man, and he was like our wellness. We had like a wellness class that we had to take one year instead of phys ed. It was like teaching you about sex and drugs and all that junk. And one day he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do yoga today." So he gets down into this yoga position, this like 80-year-old man, and he gets stuck. And it was I've never enjoyed anything more than I enjoyed that because he got stuck and he was like, "I can't move." And then he tried to move, and you just heard this pop. And he pulled something really bad and he couldn't walk and we had to carry him out and he had to leave and go to the doctors. That was like the most entertaining thing I ever did in school was watch my gym teacher just fucking fail.
Oh my God.
But I never had good ones, no. I had like a really boring school experience compared to you. Like you lived. I just kind of floated.
Yeah, I was like I took part in the yearbook staff. I did
Oh
I
God.
was in JROTC for a while. I did theater. I did a lot of stuff. Oh yeah.
Dear. Well, hey, I don't know how we got there from Friday the 13th. Jesus Christ.
Well, you asked me what I wanted to be in the or what I would be in the
Yeah,
game.
like, but what are your skills? You just said you'd be a jock with a Letterman jacket. What are your actual skills? We didn't even get to that.
I don't
Like,
know.
I don't know. So you wouldn't be the jock.
No, I would be.
Like, would you be able to fix the car?
No.
This is stereotypically what the jock would be able to do.
The jock wouldn't necessarily be able to.
You could totally fix the car.
I don't think all jocks
Oh
can.
no, that other guy would. Who's the other character they revealed?
Oh, the bad guy, the what?
Yeah, he's totally fixing the car.
Yeah, I think that's one of his skills.
Yeah, he's gonna like be able to do it faster.
I don't
And all
remember what
that
they're
stuff.
calling him, the rebel or something like that.
Yeah, that's my boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Just want you to know. Flirty girl and the rebel works every time.
Oh my goodness.
It's perfect. Match made in heaven.
See, I'm gonna wait till I see them all before I make my final decision on this about which character I think would be. See,
But you also have to have a valid skill set.
well, I don't need a well, yeah,
Yeah, you need to know what your skills are.
well, yeah. I mean, that's obviously a number one. So
Yeah, so you got to figure that out. You got some soul searching to do.
I don't have that much soul searching to do.
You have a lot
I don't
to
know.
get. Well, do you have anything else on Friday the 13th while we're on it?
I didn't really have anything other than the fact they
Oh, that's good. We're doing great today.
no, just the
we-
fact they released the art. We just spent 20 minutes talking about that. So
Yeah, that was nice. We're doing great this week. This week is a rough week for us.
well,
That's okay. Life's happening and it's hard. But did you hear? You're excited for The Last Guardian, right?
yes.
As am I. I've been waiting a very long time. It's been delayed again,
Oh yeah, I know, I know.
and I'm not excited about that.
I mean, I'll be surprised if that game doesn't get delayed. I mean, that game
So now
keeps.
they're like, "Oh, December," and I'm like, "Okay."
I mean, they've announced so many release dates on that game over the years.
This game has been coming out for the long. I don't even remember how long this game has been coming out. I've been waiting for it for years.
Probably like a decade or so at this point. I
It's
mean,
been a long time.
it
And
has.
I just want to have my big furry friend and hang out with him. That's all I want to do. Why is that so hard for me to get?
You know, I'm wondering if it has anything to do with No Man's Sky. Well,
Why?
maybe they were looking at No Man's Sky launch and they were like, you know what? Maybe we should spend a little bit more time on our game.
They've spent a lifetime on
Well,
it.
it's not ready.
Yeah. But yeah, because they were saying that they're delaying it because of bugs and everything, so.
I mean, that's good.
But there's always going to be bugs. They're not going to get everything out of
I
it.
mean, look, there's so many other games coming out right now that it's hardly even on my radar. I mean, we've got, but we've never really talked about Mafia 3 that much.
We didn't at all?
I mean, we've mentioned it here and there. I remember you mentioned, of course, when you were at the PAX. We talked about it a little bit,
Yeah.
but we haven't really talked about it too much, and it's almost out. Like it is.
I know. I won't even be home to play it.
Oh,
Like when it comes out. I won't even be home to play Gears of War when that comes
oh
out.
my
There's
God.
all these games coming out that I can't play the day they release.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but yeah, I'm getting really excited for Mafia.
Oh yeah, I am too. I'm.
I have to I really want to play through the first and second
You
one
kind of need to.
before I do it. So even if I'm a little late to the party, like I would rather play those two first.
You can do that tomorrow, Shane.
Because I've never finished them. Like I've played the first one, I never finished it. Second one, I never touched. So
I mean, the first one, honestly, you could just watch the YouTube videos and you'll be fine. The second one, though, you need to play.
yeah, I'm probably gonna pick it up on Steam
Okay, you need to do that tonight, Shake.
tonight.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's get that with my Monopoly money real quick. Thanks. No, but I'm really excited for it. I'm getting hype about it.
Oh yeah, it looks really good. And the other two games were just really great games. So I'm expecting this one will probably be a pretty decent game too. And I know they were talking something about. Well, I know with Mafia 3, they've got this system where, of course, you're sitting down with your lieutenants or whatever you want to call them, and
When you're negotiating areas and
yeah,
whatnot, businesses and all that.
yeah. Did you see not the photo, but the video they showed of that?
Yeah, like because you can. The thing that I find interesting about it is you can like within a district essentially, if that's the right word to use, because everything's divided into districts. Um, there's like all these different rackets and shit that you can give to different people in different lieutenants, and then at the end you can give all like that whole district to a lieutenant, and that affects how everybody else feels about what they own and all that. So it's interesting, and from what they've said when they talk about it is that you can actually end up making your lieutenants your enemies,
Hmm.
which is unnerving and unsettling for me. Like I don't want to do that.
Well, yeah, because all the lieutenants hate each other, so they're
So it's not going to be hard for them to hate me.
right. Because if you give it to their enemy, I mean, it's going to be like, ugh.
But they all offer you different things for it.
Right, and that's what they
So it's
said.
about what you're willing to take, and you can also like promise them stuff and then not give it to them later,
Yeah, because they were
which
talking.
is
I think they were saying that like some players have had it in their head they wanted to like favor one lieutenant, but then they come to a point in the story where one of the other lieutenants is like offering them something really hard to refuse, that they really want, like a special kind of weapon or some cool
yeah,
vehicle or something. I mean,
yeah, or maybe you need certain amount of cash flow coming in or something.
mhm.
Like it's different for everybody based on like what they've been giving and taking from other lieutenants prior too.
And it
So
looks.
it's gonna be an interesting system because it seems very stressful. Like when I was watching it, it just seems like a hard thing to go through.
And something else you need to play now that you get some time on your hands, Jake. You need to play Dragon Age
What?
Inquisition because I know you own it. You need to
Ugh.
play that. Oh, don't give me a
I gotta
sigh.
I gotta play I gotta play Dragon Age 2 first.
Yeah, I guess you do. Yeah. But you know what?
I mean, because I can't play the first one again. That one's dead to me. I love the
Well,
first one. I just can't play it anymore.
no, I mean I understand why.
Yeah.
It is a very dated game, but it is a beautiful game too. Like when it came out, I loved that game so much.
Yep. So did I.
Um,
But I gotta get this. I gotta do the second one, and then I'll do Inquisition.
okay, well, I think that's fair. So I think you got some time now. You need to play those games, Shay, because we know we need
I got nothing but time.
because we need to talk
So
about those games. We need to talk about Dragon Age, and we'll have like a Dragon Age episode. Oh, it'll be so good.
that's fine. I can do that. I'll get on that. I just gotta blast through the Assassin's Creed games, and then I'm there.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Oh, we've also
Don't
got
worry.
some. Oh, look at this Mass Effect. Mass Effect.
What
Uh,
about my?
there was something they said about Mass Effect. Oh, the animations. They were talking about how the animations for the new game have been built from the ground up. So I forget the other game they were
What does
comparing.
that mean? Like, what are they talking about?
They were talking about the fact that they were really, really putting a lot of investment and making it look really, smooth and realistic as far as the movements and such. Also using a lot of mocap for that as well. They were mentioning one game, and I can't remember what game it was they were comparing it to, but I haven't played that game, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But
It could have mattered to me.
it might have, Shake. It might have, but
It looks like you don't know, so that's useful.
well,
Thanks for that information.
some useful information on the Prattlecast as always.
Yeah, we're
Um,
great.
but no, they were talking a little bit about that. Somebody had leaked this information to NeoGAF or wherever it is those leaks come from. I think it's NeoGAF. And this guy that leaked it has been well known for making other such leaks that have turned out to be true. So it looks like they have put a lot of time and investment in those animations. And like I was saying the other day, when N7 Day gets here, we will have, we need to do a podcast on N7 Day because I think it'll be a Monday. So,
That's fine. I'm just gonna quickly look at that.
because I think that'll be a big Mass Effect news day, and we can finally talk some about Mass Effect Andromeda. Because everything we've talked about so far has just been based on some of the garbage we've seen. And by
Yeah, because we haven't really gotten a lot. It's just a lot of trash.
yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like I don't think they even wanted to release that video when they did, because I remember them saying they wanted to hold off till N7 Day and show everything then. But I'm thinking PlayStation was like, guys, we need to show off PS4 Pro. We need some folks to come show off PS4 Pro, and Mass Effect got drafted into it. But I don't know if that's true or not. But it seems.
Kind of seems like
I
it.
mean, especially since they were showing us pre-alpha footage, it wasn't really showing us anything. I'm sure it looks beautiful on 4K, but I think it looked just as pretty on my. I mean, okay, not just as pretty, but I think it looked perfectly fine on my regular computer monitor. So,
Yeah, I don't think I was missing out very much. I think it looks fine. It looks the same probably.
you know,
And yes, N7 Day is on a Monday. So that works out
all right.
splendidly.
So we're going to have an N7 Day podcast where we talk about all the N7 news that'll come out that day.
There better be a lot. Watch there be nothing. We're just like, so about
No,
that
no,
podcast.
they had better. No, they have got to release a lot of stuff. They got to release a
They
trailer.
don't have a choice.
They need to release like some information, something, because like I was saying, like they don't. Most of the stuff we've heard, it's just been secondhand. Some of it's just like been revealed here and
Hmm.
there. And since there's no forum anymore, it's not like we can go there. So, yeah, it's
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk in the forums anymore.
yeah, they shut them down. Like they're still technically up, but you can't post in them. They're going to be removing that soon. But I went by there the other day because I was thinking about something, and I went over there, and it's so sad. It's like all of these posts on that day, and like I think it was August 26th was the last day, and it's like it's just
Were they like goodbye
yeah, a lot of
posts?
goodbye posts. A lot of people saying thank you for because a lot of people met each other on the forums. Some people fell in love on the forums and went off and got married.
Yeah, it
It
happens.
happens all the time on forums, and so a lot of people. And what's so sad is there's no real one place where they're all going to go. They're all going to go to various different places. I know some of them have set up boards to go chat at, but not all of them are going to that board. Some going to this one, that one, this one. Some maybe going to Reddit. Some maybe just disappearing from it altogether. Maybe some going to Tumblr. I mean, it's just the whole community. They've fractured their own community, and I can't get over that. I can't get over what a terrible, terrible, terrible decision that was on behalf of BioWare, and it's just sad that they would do that to their own community. So
Yeah, but they did it. They followed through with it too.
it's so sad. I can't even put it into words. It really just depresses me because I just remember going there. Like I remember,
Hmm.
I, I remember the first day they announced Mass Effect, and just going to the forums and just chatting with people. And I know it wasn't the same forums because now they had, or they used to have the Bioware social network, but before that, of course, they had just the regular forums for each game. In fact, one of the old community manager people came by and put a goodbye as well. And that was Chris Priestley, who used to go by Evil Chris Priestley. And anybody who went to the forums back then, like Jade Empire, Kodor, whatever, you would have known Chris Priestley. He was there for like 10 years or so. And so, yeah, like I, it's just like
It's
all
just crazy. They broke up a family.
they did. They're
Like they really did. They broke apart a family.
and like I can't forgive them for that. Like I can't go easy on them, and I won't go easy on them because they made that decision. It was a stupid decision. You don't nuke a problem like that. You deal with it like a mature adult. But instead, they did this, and I've never seen anything like it, and I hope I never see anything like it again. It is so sad.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I don't think we will. I still don't understand why. Like I know they said it's because there's all these other forms of social media, but it's like okay, we have those, but this is the one that's been used this whole time. Like there is a group of people that have been here for years, and you're just going to take it away because you don't think it's necessary anymore?
I think a lot of it was their forums have, because let's face it, BioWare faces a lot of criticism from a lot of very passionate fans.
Yeah.
Same as most game companies. Like
But that's everybody.
I know
You're going to get that
I
everywhere.
was going to follow that up. Like I go by the 2K sports forums on occasion, especially since the wrestling game is about to come out again. I sometimes just lurk there. And let me just tell you, wrestling fans are some of the most passionate people on the planet, and they will outright just insult the developer at times, but they all still love the product. And I think with BioWare, what started happening was the more and more they started breaking away from their roots, which was like, Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, KOTOR, even Jade Empire and the original Dragon Age. The more and more they started moving in a different direction,
Hmm.
more and more fans began to, for lack of a better word, turn on them. They began to give them harsher criticism. It wasn't just, you know, endless on end praise like it used to be back in the good old days. So I think that,
Well, yeah, that's just not how gamers are anymore.
yeah, that's true.
They're just miserable.
Oh God. And you know what? I don't even really want to go into this other thing, but when you said that, I just remembered there's that one developer on Steam who just got kicked off of Steam. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
All right. Their name was, oh Jesus, it's Homicide something. Let's look that up really.
That sounds like an interesting name. I have not heard about
All
this.
right, let me make sure I get the name right on here because
This is news for me.
because I'm not going to get any of these details right. Okay. Homicide. What is it? Let me see. All right, here we go. Where is the name? It should be on this article here. There it is, Digital Homicide. Okay.
Sounds like a winner.
Now, they basically on here, the game developer was banned from Steam after users claimed it was attempting to sue 100 users of the platform for $18 million for the crime of leaving bad reviews.
What?
Now, that's the user's claim. Now, obviously, Digital Homicide is claiming that they were being harassed, that they were being given death threats in these reviews and on their forums. And when you said that earlier, what you were saying earlier, I was thinking, if you're going into game development, you got to have thick skin
Yeah.
because your consumers, the people who you're going to attract, are not the type of people that are going to give you positive reinforcement. They're going to give you basically lots of criticism because gamers, some gamers don't have very good communication skills. Let's just say that. All right.
A lot of them don't. It's
And I,
no, it is a lot of them. There is just a lot of gamers that they can't articulate.
and I think it's because gamers incorporate such a large, diverse group. Like it's not just, you know, the old timers like myself, but it's also not just the 10-year-olds that are coming into gaming either. It's a wide variety.
Right, you have all age groups, all types of people. Some people you would never even peg to be a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you could just be passing a Joe Blow or whoever on the street, and that person could be a gamer. We don't know. The lady at the cash register who's 55 years old. You know what? Maybe she goes home every night and plays World of Warcraft. So my point here is that the people who are going to give you reviews, first of all, the gamers who take time out of their day to give you reviews are usually going to be the most impassioned, either for the positive or the negative. Like go to any video game on Steam and look up just the negative reviews and look at what you
Hmm.
read. So, you do have to have thick skin. You do. I'm sorry, you just do. And I think that Digital Homicide, because I don't want to really speak too much on this because I don't know all of the details here, and I don't want to misrepresent their claims on this, um, because a lot of them, like Digital Homicide, is basically saying that they're suing because of these death threats and things they got. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that I've been on the internet since the 90s, but sometimes when I read things like this, I'm like, oh, you got a death threat online, huh? Huh, okay. Well, welcome to the internet, you know.
Welcome to the internet. This happens every
And I don't
day.
mean to downplay legitimate death threats because I feel like sometimes you can tell the difference. And yes, you get,
I think you can if you have any common sense. I mean, if somebody on the internet just says, "Oh, I hope you die,"
yeah.
it's
I mean,
you know what I mean. There's a line.
I mean, if somebody's just saying something like, well, I hope you die, or I hope you die in a fire, or something stupid like that, they're probably just some person who doesn't communicate very well. But if they're actually saying something like, I'm going to come to your house tonight, I'm going to take out a knife and I'm going to chop you to pieces, I'm going to rape your wife, I'm going to do all these other things. If they say shit like that, then yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's messed up. That's
And
aggressive.
that's why I'm
That's
saying,
really
that's why
aggressive.
I don't want to misrepresent what's happening here because I haven't read the reviews because I think the games were removed. So I don't even know if we can get to the reviews anymore. I'm sure they archived some.
Somebody probably has them.
And hey, you know what? Maybe some of these are actual legitimate things, like I just said. And if they are, then okay, I get that. But at the same time, it almost seems like I don't know. I I mean, I don't even know what to say about.
It's just interesting that he was taken off of
Oh
Steam,
yes,
or
Steam.
maybe they took him off just because of the situation and it's not fully assessed yet.
Well, Steam made a comment about it where they said they weren't going to do business with them anymore, which makes me wonder if this is like not the first time they have, you know,
Right, because I don't think they'd react to someone saying things like that by being like, "Oh, we're taking them off. We're not doing business with them." I think something more must have happened that we just don't know about right now.
granted, this is all speculation because, like I said, I don't see I don't know what the reviews actually said. Now, if the reviews were nothing but them saying, "Yeah, we're coming to your house tonight and murdering you" or something like that, then yeah, that's a problem. But granted, I think the developers can report those. I don't know if they did or not. Then maybe they did, and
Yeah,
nothing
you
was.
can. You can report reviews and stuff just like you can report like comments made on your profile and all that jazz.
And as far as I know, like maybe Digital Homicide was reporting them, and Steam wasn't doing anything. Maybe that's what's going on. I mean, I feel like there's two sides of the story, and
Yeah.
I just don't know what either side is really about without all the information here. So
I mean, we'll probably see it within the next couple days.
I hope
I mean,
so. I hope we can
we
at
might
least
we might know what's going on
verify.
because it just seems very odd.
It's weird to me that they took them off of Steam. That's the part that makes me go, okay, because I don't know if it's because I read something somewhere. I can't find it here, but I could have sworn I read that a judge had actually allowed for a something to go through where they had to release the user information for those 100 people. Steam had to, and then Steam, in reaction to that, cut ties with the developer. Now I don't
Huh.
know, but I don't know what's the truth anymore. And I highly recommend people go look into it for themselves. Oh, here
Yeah,
we go.
that's really interesting.
Okay, here we go.
You got some info?
I'm looking at this one right here. All right. Oh, here we go. This is not okay. This is from arstechnica.com, and at the very end they put down, "This is not Digital Homicide's first brush with controversy. Earlier,
Here we go.
earlier this year, the studio pursued a separate, yet to be settled lawsuit against semi-celebrity game critic Jim Sterling. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is, so I don't think that's a semi-celebrity.
I don't think that's a
Just
no
saying.
offense to the person, but I don't know who you are. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know you.
They,
You're not
they
famous.
don't know who we are either, so it's good.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
But I'm not claiming to be a semi-celebrity. Okay, I'm demanding $10 million in damages for a series of bad reviews of its games going back to 2014. Uh,
Okay.
they set up a GoFundMe to fund the suit, and it has made just $425 of its $75,000 goal. Even though he claims he received a pile of feces in the mail and that he had messages saying things like "Your wife is a whore," and "I hope you die in a fiery car crash." See, well, this is go back to what we were saying, like the things like "I hope you die"
Right. Those are things that honestly, like if I read them as a developer, I'd be like,
or
okay,
"Your wife is a whore."
well,
Like,
right. I'd
so
be like, fine,
now the
whatever. It's
feces
your
in the
opinion.
mail, you should report that to the police.
Right, because
Um,
why is someone
that's the
suing?
only,
I, but now that I'm hearing this, that it's happened
yeah.
before, and he was suing somebody else for just having bad reviews. I mean, this is someone whose job is to review. You don't get
Right.
to tell them that they can't leave a bad review, and you're suing them for it. And then you're doing a GoFundMe, hoping other people will fund you suing this man.
I mean, I don't want to.
What?
I don't want to just pull the trigger on this, but reading that makes me go, "Oh, huh, okay, maybe this
Well,
developer has
it's
a history."
yes, it's a little bit interesting because I mean it seems like he's doing the same thing again. Maybe Steam knew about that prior event, and now they're like, well, this seems a little bit weird. We're
Yeah.
not dealing with this again.
I mean, I can't
That's
really.
that's what I see right now. But of course, there could be more to it that I don't know
The
about
other
yet.
thing is, Steam would probably be in a big pile of feces itself if it released Steam user information to a developer. So, I mean, because you got to think like Valve knows not to trample on their audience. I remember because they had that whole mod pay for mods thing, and they quickly backed away from it when the community turned against it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I think Valve sometimes tries to make sure it doesn't step on the feet of its customers, which is smart. Um, so who knows?
Yeah, but in a situation like this, them taking him off of Steam,
Valve says,
I don't
I
know.
think they said it's because they were being hostile to users. Oh goodness! It's so apparently there's a bunch of shit going on with this. Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just feel like this guy's overly sensitive and he shouldn't be developing games.
Mm. I think
I'm
I,
sorry. Like you
you
need to
know,
if you're gonna make a game, like you need to get used to the fact that people aren't gonna like it. People aren't gonna be happy with what you do sometimes. And if like if you go the early access route, people are gonna bitch the whole way through.
yeah.
I mean, you can't sit there. I mean, can you imagine? Because I'm gonna go there. If the developers of the Isle decided to just fucking sue everybody, just be like, you know what, we've had enough.
Oh my
Like
God.
it's stupid. It's just dumb. Like there's no. You just gotta deal with it. I mean, they deal with it pretty well.
The other guys, okay, so the developer is saying they've submitted numerous reports and sent multiple emails, and they're only filing the suit against people where no resolution was able to be obtained from Steam, and where apparently Steam failed to provide a safe environment. What?
This is the
I
internet.
mean, Steam, a
You
safe
are not
environment.
safe. Yes.
Here's my honest opinion. Reading what I'm reading about this, I think I feel like I should just sit down with Digital Homicide and be like, listen, I know your heart is really set on making video games, but
We need to be holding his hand when we have this conversation.
maybe it's time to start thinking about other things to do with your life.
Other
Um,
ventures, you know.
because I mean it's not just because it is. I think their well-being is better off if they're not doing this because this has apparently been going on for years. This isn't healthy for these guys. Like, um,
Well, either it's not hell. Either it honestly is that they just can't take it and they just can't take the criticism. Even though if you're going into that, like you should kind of know what that territory comes with. You should never go into something as big as that kind of project and not know that.
I mean,
So it's either that or I mean there is a possibility that he's looking for money.
well,
I mean,
I think
especially with that GoFundMe
well, here's the
thing, like
thing.
that's kind of fishy.
Like a parent, like because anytime you make a creative work and it gets criticized, and especially if it's getting as much criticism as this is, it's going to start attacking your head. Like it's going to start messing with you. Because like if you pour your heart out and your soul out into something and the world doesn't like
Hmm.
it and they shit on it, it hurts. And believe me, I understand that. I put myself out there with some things and it didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that. I get that feeling, but this is not the right way to handle it. This is maybe it's time because I'm sure there are things that these guys can do that are really good. But maybe this isn't it. Maybe this isn't for them, and maybe they should start thinking about other things. I'm not saying you have to do other things, but maybe maybe you're better at something else, and you don't have to give up on creative projects. Maybe you can go try, or maybe you can make software. Maybe you can, uh, I don't know, work at a tech company or something, or try to use, because like you've got a pretty impressive resume. You've made several games. Sure, they're not very well panned, or is that the right word? I think panned is when it's bad, isn't it? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't. They're just not. They're not amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel sorry for
They're
them,
games, and
but
it's good for you for making them.
but
But
but but as sorry as I feel for them, I also am kind of like, really, filing a lawsuit and going this route. Maybe you should just, I don't know, just do something else, because this isn't the right way to go either. And I'm pretty sure most, if not all, but probably most are not actual threats. If it's just things like, "I hope you die and your wife is a
I
whore."
guarantee it's not. I can't really see. I can't really see gamers going the route of like, I'm gonna come to your house and kill you. Like I can't see
I
it.
mean, first of all, that should get you banned off Steam anyway.
Right. Those people wouldn't be on Steam anymore.
Right.
And if they were and Steam failed to acknowledge that, that's a different issue in itself.
And I'm pretty sure most users would agree with that. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
most rational human beings, like if they saw that in a comment, they'd be like, "Yeah, dude, you need to calm down and get the hell off Steam." But these other things are just, I mean, it's pretty much just digital speak. It's like slang at this point. It's just how the culture has changed. Um, I just like, yeah, you gotta have a thick skin, you gotta have a tough skin, and you got to just go with the flow and just deal with it. So,
Yeah, I mean it doesn't make it right, but it's the internet.
or you could just go the No Man's Sky route and lock down forums and
Yeah, just lock down
or
everything. Any threads on Steam, just say
or
no.
you could just go the BioWare route and just completely get rid of forums altogether. So.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. Whatever works for you and your developing needs.
I feel like we're all as a society just pushing and pushing for places to be safe from each other, and eventually we're just going to run out of places to be. you know, I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't understand the whole safe place thing that has become so fucking heavy.
I mean, I would understand. Okay, I understand safe space in terms of like victims of abuse, like shelters and shit. Sure,
Yes.
but other than that, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I'm just saying, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we've become such an overly sensitive society. Like, everybody's just bitching and crying about everything. Just shut up. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna make it through the fucking day, I promise. But nobody's okay anymore. Everyone's really upset, and apparently Steam's become a war field.
I think it's a really
Like,
sad state of affairs when I'm pretty sure, like, if a track and field coach called a student insane, they would be sued. Whereas I could laugh it off because I found it funny, but but I think
right, but there would be a kid who would just like mention it to their mom, and then their mom's like, "Oh my god," and then
oh
she goes crazy. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
how it.
that. That's digital homicide and BioWare and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm curious to see where that story goes. We'll have to have an update on that next week.
Oh my goodness.
I have a little bit. It's not like a real update, but it was a little bit more information that was released on Death Stranding.
Oh, go ahead.
So I think I already mentioned that it's going to be co-op,
Oh, is this that
and
thing
it's
I
going to be
tweeted the other day?
what? I didn't. I didn't look at your
Okay,
tweets
go
about
ahead.
this.
Go ahead.
What did you tweet?
No, go ahead.
No, tell me.
No, it's probably what you're about to talk about, but I wanted to talk about it anyway, so let's do it.
Oh, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned it's going to be co-op open world,
Yes.
which open world horror doesn't exist. So I'm very curious to see how that plays
Well,
out.
before you go any further, like when you say open world horror doesn't exist, wasn't the first Silent Hill kind of like an open world horror?
No,
Really? Because
it's a set map.
well, yeah, but it's open.
No, but you have maps. Like you have maps that you follow. You can't just go where you want.
Oh, so you can't
You
like.
can't go in every building. You can't just you can't look into the woods and say I want to go there and go.
Oh, I don't remember it
Yeah.
that way. I thought you could like choose which order to
Silent
go.
Hill's a very linear game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, go ahead.
Anyway, but yeah, it's going to be open world horror, which we don't have. And now they said that it's going to be co-op and it's going to be wanted. You're going to want to play it co-op, but you can play it alone. You're not gonna be Norman Reedus in the game. You're
Oh.
gonna you play as a female protagonist.
Well, they said that they were going to have I thought they said a male and a female.
I had just read about a female protagonist that they were talking about today.
Because I thought that was like the co-op thing. I thought that's what they were talking about.
Oh, probably for that, yeah. They'd give you both so that you're not playing the same person looking stupid. That's understandable.
Here's looking at
But
you, Dying Light.
in the yeah, yeah, we're both gonna be Crane. How dare you? But we wore different outfits,
Yeah,
so we looked different, kind of.
not
We were
really.
just both
We looked
Cranes.
exactly the same.
Yeah, that game sucks so bad. But yeah, for the single player experience, you're gonna be this female protagonist of sorts. So I
Wait,
don't know how Norman Reedus plays into this whole story,
hold up.
but I'm curious.
Wait, Dying
What?
Light is sort of an open world horror game.
It's not a horror game.
Well, I mean, it's got scary stuff in it. Oh, it's
Not
got some
cons-
scary stuff, Shake. Like what?
It's not considered a horror game though. I would never lump that into that
How?
category because that whole game you can just jump over the heads of everything and then just mad
Okay,
dash and slash everything. It's not horror.
Shake. When it becomes nighttime in that game,
Yeah, we go to bed.
it becomes scary.
No, it doesn't because we sleep.
Okay, well you don't remember the first time it became night in
I'm
that game?
talking about this.
Have you blocked this out of your memory? Because I
Well, yeah, it
remember.
was bad. It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
That was one time, and then you're used to it. Because I remember when we
Well,
played the expansion or whatever, we were just kind of like trudging
hold on.
through it.
No, well, no, we got to go into this because Dying Light,
Okay.
when it becomes
Okay. Here
night,
we go.
it becomes scary. Now the two of us chose not to experience night. We would always sleep through night, but
Normal people.
if
Duh.
you wanted to, you could play the game at night, and if you do, that is a very scary game. So I would say it is an open world horror game.
I disagree.
Well, you can disagree, but I think it's kind of a fact.
You're gonna lump that as a horror game, but yet it's I you know what? I no.
And it's a horror game. It's got
No, it's not.
lots of scares. It's scary. I mean, I think if it's scary, it's going to be a horror game.
I mean, a lot of things can scare you.
Okay, what other games scare you that aren't horror games?
Well, I've been afraid of things in games just because they jump out at me. Like I'm afraid of Ark. I've been afraid of the Isle.
Okay.
I get afraid
Okay,
of other
but
things.
that's more like suspense, though.
Yeah, but things scare me. I just don't think that Dying Light's a horror game.
Well, I
I
mean,
would disagree.
oh, okay, but it's got like zombies and things. So
Yeah, it's
attack
got
you at
zombies and
night.
stuff. That doesn't make it horror. Like I don't think like the Resident Evil games we played have zombies and shit. I don't think those are horror.
Well, they are survival horror. So
They're considered survival horror, but I'd consider them more of like survival adventure. Like,
I would
shooters.
argue that yeah, like the ones we played, the co-op ones are probably
Yeah,
not
yeah.
very horror.
Earlier ones I would agree are survival horror games.
Okay.
Absolutely. But those two are not. They're adventure. Like, shooter bullshit.
And I would say there are more scares in Dying Light in that sense than probably even Resident Evil or whatnot if you're actually playing it a long time at night. But I mean, can you play the game without being scared? Yes, but you could just as easily play the game during the nighttime the entire time and just be like, "What am I doing?"
But I think we would be desensitized to that very quickly because it would be constant, which then kind of negates it being horror because you're used to it.
Well, I wouldn't negate it from being horror. I just think, Well, I mean, what is it actually classified as anyway? Let's look this up. What is Dying Light's genre?
Are you Googling?
Yeah, I'm just looking it up. I just want to
Okay,
know what
go
it
ahead.
was.
Tell me. It's probably
Okay.
something
Oh,
stupid.
actually, okay. Here we go. It is a. All right. It is a first-person action-adventure survival horror video game.
Jesus Christ. They
Now,
couldn't figure out what to put in.
Now they don't say. Oh, yeah, they do. Open world first-person action-adventure survival horror video game. Okay, so they do say
Dear
open world.
God.
So yeah, I mean, it is an open world horror game technically, and there it is. So yes.
But it's not.
Well, I mean, it is Shake. It is an open world. It's also an action adventure, but it is survival horror. So,
Okay, but Death Stranding is going to just be that. It's going to be open world
you
horror.
know, I remember when Alan Wake was going to come out, and it was going to be promising to be like an open world horror game, but it didn't turn out to be like that. Um,
It's not open world. That's a linear
no,
game.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but when they
But
were
it was scary. I was scared of that game.
But when they were first announcing Alan Wake and they showed off the maps and things, they were kind of pitching it as an open world. Now, when the game launched, obviously that's not what it was, but it in the lead up to it, they were kind of going, yeah, this is going to be kind of open worldy because I remember them showing the map and like turning it around, showing us the weather effects. And at the time, it was like, whoa, that is so cool. It's going to have like weather that passes over. Holy cow. Like video games are getting really impressive, you know. But
I thought Alan Wake was amazing
I
regardless. Like
love the
I
game,
loved that game. I
but
still love it. I've replayed it a few
it
times.
doesn't have any of the things that they were talking about early
No.
on. So there is that. But yeah, so yeah, Dying Light, I would say survival horror and open world. So
All right, we'll see how you feel when Death Stranding comes out because it's going to come out by 2018.
well, I didn't say that Dying Light was a fun game. I didn't really enjoy it other than playing the co-op with you.
It was so bad.
Like I would not have been able to play that single player. I would have stopped playing in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's very repetitive.
Yeah, I mean
It's just doing a lot of running around,
it's
being
not for me.
stupid.
It's not for me.
It's not for me either. Have you popped into the aisle at all?
No, I'm waiting for I'm waiting for compies, and when compies come in, I'm gonna be like going in there and like doing a lot of stuff with it. But I am
Well, because
following it. I'm following the updates. I'm following everything. It's
yeah,
good.
because we've added some little salt marshes
Mm-hmm.
and some cliffs, and it's all very pretty. And you can catch fish now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was seeing some stuff of dinosaurs that were like run. The fish in the mouth look really weird right now. It's just like looks like a fish going through your face. But you can catch fish and eat that way now.
Oh, good.
So they've got the fish on the map. So they've done that on there. I haven't gone in and seen it, but I've like seen the cliff face and the salt marsh and all that stuff. It all looks really nice. So I'm really excited for it. And he was releasing images of a new map. I haven't even learned this one. But they've released images of a brand new map that's coming.
Oh my goodness.
And they've I think in the update did they say they added oceans to the V3 map?
I don't remember. I haven't read the
I
most
think
recent.
they did. And you can't swim in it and you can't drink it out of it, but there is an ocean now.
Nice.
Yep. So we've got oceans coming in. I'm really excited. I just haven't had time to play because I've been so busy, but not anymore. I can do things.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the stuff they were posting up here recently. Like the little hut here, the feathered
Yeah,
Rex designs apparently.
he just posted in the announcements the humble abode, the grass shelter.
And then the feathered Rex design, and they wanted to know which one the people prefer, so you can vote right now.
Yeah, you can vote in the straw poll to see. I'm gonna have to do that after. Because he just put that up a little while
Yeah,
ago.
while we were on here.
Yeah. But there's all sorts of new stuff coming out, and I'm free. Everything looks really pretty, though. I'm really excited. And I like the weapons that they keep showing, like the hooks and the bone mace and all that. I just scrolled up and saw that again. I was like, ooh, that looks good.
Well, what do you got from your random pile?
A lot. um, so when you were younger,
Oh, Jesus.
well, I'm not getting deep. I'm, did you watch Jumanji?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes. I remember watching in the theater, actually.
Oh my God, you saw it in the theater?
Yeah, I did.
I'm jealous. I would have been really scared though if I saw it in the theater. Because that movie scared me when I was little.
It wasn't scary, but it was
Can you imagine a board game coming to life? That's scary.
well, isn't there another movie like that? That one that's in space?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, there's it's like it starts with a Z.
Oh, I feel like I know what you're talking about, but aren't they like, doesn't their house go into space or something?
Yeah, because they like open up this game, they start playing it, and then stuff starts happening. Like a spaceman comes in, and their house goes into space.
I feel like I've seen like the end of this movie.
Okay, you probably have.
Like I kind of walked in on it and didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot like Jumanji in that sense, but it's a very different type of movie.
Well, they're making a sequel to Jumanji.
Are they?
Yeah. It's gonna be Jack Black, Kevin Hart, and The Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah.
What?
It's gonna be atrocious.
What is?
I guess it's not like a reboot of it. It's gonna be like a continuation, which there's nothing to continue.
What?
Yeah, the Jumanji sequel's happening. And they were wearing like jungle clothes in the jungle, so maybe they're like going to the jungle where Robin Williams was living.
I guess so.
But that's what we're getting. We're getting a Jumanji sequel. I'm not happy about it.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just trying to figure out why The Rock is in it.
I mean, he's the main guy. But him and Kevin Hart have been doing movies together a lot lately, apparently.
Really?
So now they're doing this. Yeah, they did like some CIA movie together, some stupid buddy comedy, and now they're doing this with Jack Black and some redhead lady that I don't know. I don't know who she is.
Well, I don't know who's in it, so I don't know who it is either.
I just told you.
Well, other than that.
Her name is Ruby Roundhouse in the movie. She's absolutely useless. I guarantee it.
Oh, Jesus.
With a name like Ruby Roundhouse, you're useless.
So that's The Rock's next movie.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to see it.
Well, obviously.
Like, I have to know what's going on. Well, you had nothing to offer there.
Well, I could talk about The Rock, and that's about it. I mean, I don't remember Jumanji that well. I remember the beginning.
What?
I remember the big lives.
How do you not? Like the lion ripping through the house?
No, I don't remember that. Like, I think the last time I saw it was in the theater. So
you saw Jumanji once.
Yeah, like back in the mid-90s or whenever it came out.
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you when it came out?
I have no idea. I don't I don't remember. But I do remember going to go see it and just
because I watched it when I was like little.
Well, you're very young, Shake.
And I was terrified. That movie was so scary, but then I like wanted the board game to be real.
Well, you can buy the board game.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you can buy it, but I mean, it's not going to like do that. I mean, no.
Oh, well, that's.
I mean, it's not going to actually take you to the jungle, Shake.
I don't want it to take me to the jungle. I want it to bring the jungle to me.
Well, it's not going to do that either, so.
Well, then that's false advertising.
I guess so.
I'm filing a lawsuit. I'm very triggered. I don't like this. But that movie scared me real bad when I was young. I'm upset that you don't remember it.
Well, I remember it. I just haven't seen it in a long time, so I couldn't really tell you much about it other than what I just did. I mean, I remember how it opens, and I remember random things, but that's about it.
Was The Rock a wrestler you were a fan of?
Let's see. I wasn't really a big fan of his at the time. At the time that he was kind of a big star, because he became a big star around the time that Stone Cold was kind of semi-leaving because he had a big injury. And so the stuff...
Was he like big? Was he like big in wrestling for a while?
Yes, he was the top guy. Like right after Steve Austin was kind of leaving, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock was the guy who kind of picked up the mantle. And what's so funny about him is when he first came into the business and like he first premiered on what was then the WWF, they brought him in as a baby face. So they brought him in as a good guy. And he would come out there wearing these blue streamers. And people really very quickly started to hate him. Because he would come out there, and whether he won or lost, he would always be like, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I'm just here to have a good time and blah, blah, blah. And
that's weird.
It's very weird when you think about The Rock. But, but that was his character at the time. And people hated him. They hated him. And so finally, Vince McMahon allowed The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who was wrestling at the time as Rocky Maivia. And one day they let him turn heel. And when he turned heel, or for those who don't know the slang in the business.
I have no idea
what that means is becoming a bad guy. So you have your good guys, which are baby faces, your bad guys, which are heels. And so they let him become a bad guy. And when he became a bad guy, he started going off on the audience and just really laying into them, giving them a piece of his mind, insulting them in the most hilarious ways imaginable. Because the one thing about him is
Was he scripted for that?
No, this was not.
Oh, he just did it.
Yeah.
Like this was off the cuff. Nice.
He's one of those guys that knows how to kind go ad lib. Like he can just play right off the cuff. He can just start going. And when he does it, he's hilarious. And the crowd started to love him. So much so that eventually they had to turn his character face again because they loved how and that's where his character came from. That's why, his character became such a big-headed kind of a jerk, if you will, a guy who insulted everybody. And his big thing back then was anytime he did an interview, he would ask the interviewer a question. Like during the interview, they'd be asking him questions,
What?
and then eventually he'd say, "Well, what did you think of the Rocks match?" Because he always talked about himself in like the third person. I was like, "What did you think of the Rocks match?" And then the interviewer would go to answer, and then he would say, "It doesn't matter what you think," or something like that. And it was just like
Oh my
the
god, that's
crowd.
insane.
I mean, and that's where the whole thing with "Do you smell what the Rock's cooking?" and all these other catchphrases he had. I mean, he just became big. Like he skyrocketed, and then he started
He
getting
was the performer.
yeah, he started getting into movies. I remember him doing SNL, and from there he just kind of went a whole other direction with his career. So yeah,
Well, he's been doing really well.
yes, he has. He has.
I
He
remember,
has.
and did him and Austin have like a feud? Like were they? And why do I feel like when I was a kid,
Right.
I saw something like they were like having like a verbal attack between each
They
other.
did. They had a couple of feuds. The earlier ones was when The Rock was still a bad guy, and Stone Cold would have been the face. And they were both. I mean, Stone Cold was always kind of an anti-hero good guy. So he was the guy that would
Yeah.
kind of go in there, drink beer. He was basically the guy that everybody lived vicariously through. He's the guy that beat up his boss, called his boss names, did stuff like that. And The Rock was sort of Hollywood. He was about dressing nice, wearing these really fancy sunshades, a very stuck up guy. The two of them together in the ring was just magic. And what I'll say is this, because they did like 2 or 3 WrestleManias together. The very last WrestleMania they did together was toward the end of Steve Austin's career. It might have been Steve Austin's last match. I don't remember for sure. But I'll say this. The Rock won that match. So he wins the main event at WrestleMania, which, for those who don't know, WrestleMania is the big thing in wrestling. That's the big one. And what happens at WrestleMania is, and like if you're in the main event, you win, that means the loser will vacate the ring. You get your moment, like you get up on the turnbuckle, you raise your arms, you listen to the crowd chanting your name, you have that moment, you raise up the belt. It's a very emotional moment for the winner. Well, The Rock won the match. He then rolls over and says something to Steve Austin. And at the time, I didn't know what it was, but later on in documentaries and such, they've actually revealed what it was. He basically leaned down to Steve Austin's ear and said, and I don't remember his exact words, so this won't be an exact quote, but it's pretty much the same idea. And he pretty much said, "I love you, and I respect you, and this, that, and the other." And then The Rock, who won the match, vacated the ring so that Steve Austin would have his moment in the ring, even though Steve Austin lost. So yes, the two of
Oh.
them had a lot of respect for each other, but they did have these great wrestling feuds. And anytime the two of them took to the match together, it was electric. It was beautiful.
That's crazy because I remember seeing something where I think The Rock like ran him over with his car.
Yes.
Like that's what sticks out in my
Well,
mind from when I was a kid is like that he was hit by a car and like he came at and then like Steve Austin came out and was all like bandaged up and stuff like yelling at The Rock for hitting him with the car.
that
Like
was
that's what I remember from my childhood with them.
the first thing I remember off the top of my head with getting hit by a car was when they wrote Steve Austin off the show for a while when he had to go get surgery. And it was actually Rikishi who hit him with the car, which was this huge dude.
Oh.
Now, I don't remember if The Rock ever hit him with a car, but it certainly is possible because there was a lot of crazy stuff they did.
I just remember him being hit by a car and being very angry about it and like coming back and being like, "Hey, I'm here."
Now, that might have been that one. I don't remember, but it's
Yeah.
been so long, and also the storylines in wrestling. I mean, it's basically like a really uh, violent soap opera is the best way I can think of to put it. So sometimes I don't remember the exact storyline that was going on, but I remember specific things here and there. And at that time, which was the late 90s through the early 2000s, that was one of the best times in professional wrestling because they went all out. They would jump off of huge rafters and do crazy stunts because it was all about competing against the other company. So they were always,
Yeah, you were saying that they went really
yeah,
they were dangerous and people were getting like very real injuries.
yeah. Some unfortunately in the business, some people even died. So I mean,
Whoa.
it happened. So
What?
yeah,
That's
what
insane. They must have had to sign shit though, being like, if you die,
they've
we are not
they've
responsible.
changed rules. Like for instance, Steve Austin once suffered a career-ending injury when he got a pile driver put against him, which is basically where your opponent picks you up, turns you over, and lands you on your head as he's sitting down. And what happened was Steve Austin hit his head on the mat as he came down and became paralyzed for a moment and couldn't move. And that was before he became really as big as he was. So he came back from that injury. Even though that injury pretty much did end his career, he went on to do his best stuff before he actually retired. So, but
But
eventually,
isn't all that like like when they do stuff like that though? Aren't they like don't they practice and like train to do those things properly, or
yes,
is it just
of course.
so they do? It's not like it's just random.
No.
So somehow they just messed up when they were
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
it.
accidents happen. And then you get other cases where the company kind of screws up. And obviously, the big one that I can think of would be Owen Hart during a pay-per-view, which I don't believe this ever actually aired. I think that the only people who actually saw it would have probably been the people in the audience. But one of the things they were going to do was Owen Hart was going to come from the roof of the building down to the ring. He was going to be riding one of those what do you call those things that you hook up onto a belt and you glide down? I don't even remember.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so he was going
I
to,
can't think of the
but
word.
that was what he was going to.
Like, wait, you talking about like just a harness?
Yeah, something like that. And
Like the clips?
yeah, and he'd be like lowered down to the ring. Well, the thing snapped, and he fell from the roof all the way into the ring,
Oh.
died. So yeah, and
Oh.
that was a pay per view.
And that was like that was
It
live.
was live, but
Like people were there, like seeing it.
people were at the in the audience and could see it, but I don't think the audience at home could see it because I think they were able to cut the feed before it actually aired.
They cut it in
Now,
time.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Well, there's
actually,
got to be delay, so.
and I didn't actually see that pay-per-view. I saw a lot of them at the time, so I don't know if that, and I know they've never shown that footage. So there was that one, and I remember the only thing I remember ever seeing of it was when they showed the footage of the commentator, the guy in the booth, who was pretty much talking to the audience and was like, this is not a part of the show. They were trying to relay that this is not, you know, a part of the.
This is real.
Mhm.
So don't you need to take this serious. Someone's dead.
Yeah, and there was another case like these two Japanese women over in Japan, where one of them
They have wrestling over there too?
wrestling in Japan is huge. It
Really?
is huge in Japan,
That's
and
surprising.
they do the crazy shit over there. Like they do the,
Well, it's Japan. What do you expect?
but
Like,
like all of the American, European wrestlers, everybody, if you like, they go take Japanese tours, and like especially in the old days, that's really where you tested yourself because a lot of the times in the ring, those things could get really rough. But there was a case not too long ago where these two lady wrestlers in Japan, one of them went haywire on the other one and began shoot fighting, which is another word for really fighting. So
she like just broke out of character and lost her shit.
I wouldn't say she broke out of character, but she began to actually fight. So she was actually
That's
throwing real
okay.
punches, real kicks. She bruised up the other lady so badly that the other lady had to retire. Like, in her face at the end of that match was just all busted up. So that was an intense one. But yeah, sometimes they start shoot fighting, or or there was a case where Lex Luger, here's one.
Lex who?
He was a big fan of the DC comics, which is why he wanted to call
Okay.
himself Lex Luger instead of, but I mean, but he obviously named him after Lex Luthor.
Right.
Um,
That's why I was like, wait, what's his name?
but he did a cage fight with another man. I think it was oh goodness, the gentleman isn't alive anymore, but the name just slipped my mind. But he was in the ring with
Google.
him, and I guess I could try to Google this thing real fast.
Well, I was saying it for people listening, not
Oh,
you. They can Google. But if you want to Google, go right ahead.
let me see if I can just find it really fast. Yeah, Brody. That's his name. Okay, so Bruiser Brody and Lex Luger cage
Bruiser
match.
Brody. That's cute.
What happened was Lex Luger is supposed to, I believe, win this match, and all of a sudden, Bruiser Brody started no selling, which means uh, in the industry they call selling. That's whenever you take a punch and you make it look like it hurts you, that's selling the move. So you sell the move. Well, this guy stopped selling all of Lex's stuff. So Lex would go to punch him, he wouldn't sell it. And so Lex
So
is
what, would he just move or just
nope, he
like
wouldn't even move. He would just stand there. And like this is like midway or so through the match, and Lex began to realize,
so was he actually so was Lex actually hitting him?
yeah, well, no, he wasn't actually hitting him. He was
Oh, so he made him look stupid by doing that then.
he, yeah. Bruiser Brody was making Lex Luger look stupid.
Right, because if he's not selling it, it just looks really
Right.
dumb, like he's fake punching
Right.
somebody.
And so Lex left the ring because he was like, you know what? Something's up. I may have ticked this guy off, and I do not want to get hurt. So he leaves the cage. He just leaves the match, which was probably a very smart move because Bruiser Brody could have tore him up. But yeah,
I wonder how that happens though. Like, how do you walk in and you're that mad? Like, I understand, like,
there
if you play angry, you're angry people. Like, you kind of have to be like in the ring, but like, why would you just turn around and start fighting someone and like beating them up?
there are a lot of egos. Sometimes some people feel like other people haven't earned their push, which means that when you're getting pushed in wrestling, that means you're getting a lot of wins. They're really pushing you to be a big a big competitor, a big athlete, a big champion. Um, one of the cases that comes to mind was back in the 70s. Uh, there was a champion named Bruno Sammartino. He dropped the belt to superstar Billy Graham, who then was supposed to drop the belt to a guy named Bob Backlund. Well, he says that he almost didn't drop the belt to him. He almost just didn't want to do it. Like, and he thought and
He
contemplated.
just wanted to keep it. Was that it? Like, he just
No,
didn't want
he
to.
just didn't want to drop it to him. He didn't feel like that quote unquote kid had really earned the right to be champion. And also because he felt like he himself was selling out buildings plenty. So he came up to a point where he almost dropped the belt to Bruno Sammartino again because he was going to have a cage match with Bruno. And he tells Bruno before they go in, he says, you know what? I'm thinking about just letting you win this thing. And I'm going to give you the belt. And Bruno's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't put me in that situation. Well, but the thing was, back then they had to protect the business. So he was like, you know, what happens if, because Superstar was thinking to himself, you know, what happens if, you know, I just take this hit, you know, I go down. That means Bruno has to vacate the ring and has to go win, or else he exposes the business for being a fraud, you know? And so that's what he was thinking. Now, he didn't actually do that. He did drop the belt to Bob Backlund. He did the right thing. And that's that. But there have been occasions where people have thought about not doing things. So,
It's that corruption.
yeah. And like
I
billions of
mean,
examples. But yeah, that's plenty.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't care so much if it was me. I mean, I couldn't do it at all. Like when you had talked about that story with the with the person who was like you that was coming after you when you were
He
announcing.
wasn't coming after me, though. I mean, I thought he
But
was.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't even handle announcing. Like just take the belt. I don't want it. Just let me retire. Just, I don't want to do. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Well, yeah, you know what? We touched upon some good stuff here. I have plenty of random stuff for another time. We made our mark today. You think?
I hope so.
We did. Listen, guys. It's been. I moved. Razzle's vacationing. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
We did our best.
We'll be back next Tuesday, so it'll all be good.
Yes, we will, and we're gonna be in such a better place. I promise. I don't want to make that promise, but it's okay. We'll be here, and that's good. But you can email us at theprattlecast@gmail.com. Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/theprattlecast. Every episode's uploaded to YouTube if you feel the need to use that. You can find us on Twitter under the same name as well. Our personal Twitters are at ShakeZillaTV and Razzle_Dazzles. Our Twitch names are the same. We won't be back to streaming for another couple weeks. because schedules just don't really line up right now. It's a really busy month, but we will be back in about 3 weeks, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll be back and we'll finish the stuff we're working on and get back on other games. But that's it. We'll see you guys next week. Be nice to each other.